The Dawn Era signifies the moment where several Ark fleets managed to locate habitable planets for humanity to colonize. And like I said in the prologue video, governments and powerful corporations led this initiative, and even though they had political differences, they at least agreed on the Green World Signal, which was a signal that would be beamed across the galaxy upon the discovery of a habitable planet or region. This would notify all the other Ark ships in the galaxy about the new potential candidates, drawing them to the new cluster, which is exactly what happened when several Ark fleets reached the Centauri cluster in 18,000 AD. Now, for the new pioneers, they were fully aware it would take hundreds of years before the second wave arrived, and potentially thousands for the fourth, seventh, or ninth wave, depending on how many Ark ships survived the journey. But they had done their part and notified the galaxy, so at this point, there was nothing else left to do but to colonize. And over the next 25,000 years, they thrived with their descendants, creating vast interstellar societies and empires, which were underpinned by thousands of new diverging cultures. And that's when the problems began. But amidst these problems, a steady trickle of Ark ships continued to arrive, some assimilating, adapting, or evolving like the ones that came before them, and some perishing. Okay, let's talk about the details. In the Extract Inheritance, we have confirmation that there were at least 67 known Arks under construction, and while it seems the majority of these were made on Earth, the extract also mentions space, Mars, and the Moon as jumping off points, and it specifically mentions materials and expertise as determining factors. So just with that, we have confirmation that humanity was already spacefaring before the Exodus, and that the resources on Earth had started to diminish. Which makes perfect sense because the reason why this exodus is happening in the first place is due to that very reason and humanity's lack of care. Now, the paragraph also mentions expertise, which I think is important because it gives you an insight into the type of people working on this project, and by deduction, people who probably managed to get on board. But we don't need to speculate too much, as we have confirmation on what the global recruiters were actually looking for. As the extract mentions, there's a planetary aptitude test to determine each individual's potential contribution to the Ark and the new worlds. So priority was given to engineers, scientists, doctors, and inspirational artists from around the globe. But the article also confirms the rich and their families were also given preferential treatment. And this part shouldn't come as a surprise, as I would imagine a large portion of these arcs were co-sponsored or outright built by these wealthy individuals, which was also confirmed from the book Archimedes' Engine and the extract 99% workable. When it comes to the migration, I think it's important to state that not every vessel would actually make it to the green worlds, as space travel at this distance and time was new to humanity. You have to keep in mind that people back then were used to interplanetary travel within our solar system, so the technology matched. However, from a technological standpoint, humanity was decades or centuries away from a comfortable, safe journey to Alpha Centauri. But necessity calls. You do or you don't. To flesh his point out a bit more, the extract called Spares talks about how Nabil had been horrified to learn the Ark was running with just a few engineers mid-flight. Systems had been failing for some time, and blueprints for the Ark didn't match what was actually behind the panel. Combine that with a lack of materials and workarounds, and those fixes eventually cause further problems down the line, especially for the newer generations. And this puts further pressure on the Ark and turns engineers like Kendall into essential priority workers. So when it becomes clear she needs a new pancreas, Elena, who is a non-essential, becomes the sacrificial lamb. And the grim reality of it all is, Elena's permission is not requested, and the justification is as follows: the ship must go on.